Hello, everybody. Happy Friday and welcome to my channel. Yay! We made it through another long week. Actually, this week wasn't that long for me. Now that I'm not busy anymore, my weeks don't tarry like they used to tarry. But y'all go ahead and hydrate because you know Pat gonna tell you to. Um, Welcome back to my channel. My name is Britt. This is my channel, brittwriterly. It's a book and author too, where I talk about the intersections of literature and culture, mostly on my Writerly Conversations collaboration with Shay, and on my FriYAY reading sprints with y'all. Yeah, I'm not gonna give a writing update yet. I'll give it at the end of the first sprint because I have a surprise for y'all. But thank you if you're watching live. We'll greet y'all in a second. Thank you if you're watching on the replay. Super appreciate it. Y'all make sure you smash that like button. And now I will let my lovely co-host introduce herself.
Hey y'all, hey. Oh, I already took back here out. Sorry, y'all hear me. I'm in my bathroom because your girl is going on vacation, and y'all know when a black girl go on vacation, 9 times out of 10, what is she doing to her hair? Braiding it up, and that's exactly what's gonna be going. But for those of you guys who don't know, I am Shay Cache. My channel is Shay with the Hobbies. I be writing, I be reading, I be creating, and that's something you think you could be interested in. And I do pretty much sort of kind of really look like this avatar that's on the screen, except I'm chocolate and not gray. But that's me. Come check me out. I'm pretty interested, I think, and I'm a little funny. So there you go.
All right, let's greet the chat. Good morning, Vicky. Good morning, T. Morgan. I love your avatar, by the way. Full Metal Alchemist. Love it. Good morning, T. Miss Maya. Good morning. Good morning. All right, and good morning to the Ghost Watchers, whoever you are, wherever you are. We see y'all. Y'all don't want either. I mean, but some people watch on their TV. This says I know this because Ashley used to tell me I'm not commenting on your videos because I'm watching it on my TV and I forget to like go to my phone and comment on my computer.
Yeah, no, that's literally what I be doing for most.
I get that. So okay, to all people watching us on the big screen, we see you. Thank you also for your views. Good morning, Tia. Hey. And then one of my friends who lives in Virginia sent me a picture of her husband watching us last week on their TV. I said, what?
Hey, we appreciate the support.
It's hilarious. She was like, oh my goodness, look, Brittany 3, he's watching you. And I was like, yes. He said, I found her a long time ago.
Found her a long time ago.
Because I guess she had never seen him. Well, I mean, I didn't know. He was like, actually, I found her a long time ago. I was like, her husband is so awesome. He's so supportive.
I love it. He said you're late to the party, not me.
Right. He's like, you're very late. As soon as you told me that you have a friend that you like, I was like, let's find out who she is.
Right. Hey, I'm with it.
Listen, investigation is important. Good morning, Vina.
I hope you had a great time on your vacation.
Same.
Like pictures and stuff.
Hope it's not too much of a harsh reality coming back.
Man, bruh, the way I'm already like not looking forward to coming back to Oklahoma.
And you ain't even left yet.
I ain't even gone. I'm already like, you have to come back. The dogs make it. If it wasn't for the dogs, though.
We might have to go pick her up.
Right.
Because she's gonna be like, what? I'm just gonna stay here.
Stuck, y'all. I can't get back. What I'm gonna do?
My bad. It's out of my hands, truly.
It's above me now.
It's really and truly above me now. It is truly I can't. What am I gonna do about it? Nothing. It's above me. Okay, vacay vlog dropping on Monday. Right back into work. Ugh.
Love that.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, right back into work. Trash.
Right? You need at least like 2 days after vacation.
Yeah.
To go back to work.
And get ready for all the people who are gonna be in your face talking about how was your vacation. Listen, It was a vacation from you. I don't want to talk about it with you. I don't want to discuss it.
Oh no, I have totally decided I'm gonna be one of those people that just makes vacation videos and be like, here, just go look. That's how it was. I'm not answering. Just look. Just
I
go
have a
look.
little link up.
Just a little link. I just, here. This is how it was.
If you're
Live
truly that
vicariously through me.
curious, you can go
Live
see.
vicariously. Ooh,
That's right.
y'all, this braiding hair is so pretty. It's so different from what I normally do. I'm so excited. I'm gonna be different. I'm excited.
I'm gonna be different. You do work from home. Okay. That's true.
Oh, nice.
So you can sort of ease your way back in, even if you do jump back in. You can still just sort of
Right.
like on your own time. Okay, that's good. All right, y'all. Let's get into our first sprint so we can maybe get 3 in today. I am reading per usual When It All Syncs Up. Yes, beautiful. I'm reading When It All Syncs Up by Maya Emi, y'all. And I'm gonna get on down. All 3 sprints. It's gonna be me and Maya. All 3 sprints. Shay, what you're reading? Or are you reading? Are you listening to something?
Yes. I'm gonna be listening to My Soul to Keep by Tanya Redo. I'm actually buddy reading that with somebody, and I got 5 chapters in last night when I was twisting my hair, so that was pretty good. And I was like, I her books are slow burn, so I have to be ready that I'm gonna be listening for a while. But they be intriguing. They do be intriguing. That I can admit to. I've been intrigued in this one and The Good House.
Yeah.
Or no, yeah, it was the Good House, right? No, Nana was Brandon Massey. But yeah, no, The Good House is really good. I really like that one.
Okay. I'm gonna need to make my way over there. I'm just,
I
y'all
feel
know, a
like
kid with
it's
the long
probably
books.
going to be around Black Thon that you decide to do that. Isn't it true?
Well, I mean, look, I
Right,
love a
but
good
it's gonna take you a
procrastination.
while. So see, if you started it in September anyways, like Chloe's Black SFF-a-thon, right? So you start a little bit early. It's going to
Yeah.
cover for that.
Yeah, I do that.
Look at me.
Yeah,
That's what a good friend does. They find solutions to the situation.
they do.
They
They
do.
do. Yeah. Ooh, man, all of these books I feel obliged to read this year. But I like When It
I
All
wouldn't
Syncs Up,
say
so it's
obliged. I
fine.
think eventually, because I think you would appreciate because of even how we talked about description on Tuesday, right? Like I think you would appreciate that part of the book at the
I
very end.
totally agree.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm being very firm with my TBR. So I'm like, I will finish When It All Syncs Up. I will finish the Dark Place arc. Oh, mercy. And it's another E1. So I'm like, let me finish When It All Syncs Up quickly so I can go ahead and get into the Dark Place.
Right.
Okay, let's do it. Good morning, Tangible Reads.
Courtney.
Okay, I was like, it's not Rachel.
Mm-mm.
Courtney. Good morning, Courtney. Long time no see. Slow burn. Okay, you've also read some Tenerife. Her name is a whole like.
It's a vibe, and I
It
wonder if
is.
it's like her real name or if it's a
If
pen
it's
name.
not, that's a heck of a naming. Like she did a good job.
Right? If she came up with that, yo, I love it.
She was like, I'm gonna go with Tenerife, dude.
Yesterday, I was having a conversation with a friend. I was like, yo, isn't it wild that someone else picks what people are going to call you for the rest of your life?
Parents.
Right?
Those crazy kids. I'm reading The Secret Cabana. It's a chapter book for Reckless I'm putting together. Oh, yes. You've talked about this, Reckless.
Nice.
Come on to pronouncing Black people's name right on the first time. Right on the first time. Love it. Okay, here we go. Doggy timer. This sweet puppy is going to be with us as we go into our reading in 3, 2, 1. Y'all turn them pages. Y'all, I legitimately almost missed that timer. It's pure coincidence that I happened to look up because when I tell you I've been waiting on this secret for the entire book and they finally about to get to it, I said, wait, what time is it? And then I looked up and the timer was like 4, 3, 2. I was like, oh, dang it. So this is going to be really quick and then we're going right back in because I can't. Okay. Courtney just finished working out, I think, and gonna go take a walk. It's good. Shay, how'd that sprint go for you?
It's good. I got 3 braids done, and I am I'm on chapter 7 now. I got through 2 chapters, almost to chapter 8.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Vicky is reading Blood Marked by Tracy Leon. I asked her how it's going or what her thoughts were. There's something very satisfying to my soul reading about a powerful Black girl doing fantastical things without ignoring her buttons in the process. That said, structural issues have been a thing. What do you mean? Like structural writing issues or like structural racism?
I'll say, wait, she's in touch with her Blackness in this book? Because it didn't sound like it in the first one. I haven't read it, so I don't know.
I know that Vina has some critiques, but I don't remember exactly what they were. Birdie, not Birdie, Alicia. I always want to call you Birdie because of your thingy, your handle. Hi, Alicia. Late but made it. Hey, Craft Blend. Sunday is World Book Day. Really?
Ooh.
Shay, what'd you say?
I said, well, it is her nickname, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I always. Also, next week is National Library Week. Okay, books are up. I paid a family friend $20 to do my hair in Guyana. I'm so happy I don't have to do my hair for the next few weeks.
Man, that's how much my hair costs.
$20.
Oh, wish.
Okay. We're gonna get right back into this next sprint. My surprise is I was out one day and like had to wait around for a bit. And I went from like 50-something% to 76. And then on that last sprint, I got to 82%. So your girl is making strides.
So I like how you totally said that it was going to be a writing update.
Did I?
And it was a surprise. Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm excited to see what this is going to be. Yeah.
That was a total typo. Nope. Reading.
I was like, what? Okay, she didn't even say this before we got started. This is a surprise.
No. I wouldn't do that.
I was like, wait a minute.
Jay said, I came back just to hear you talking about some doggone book. Okay.
A book that we already talked about. I already knew where you was in the book.
It was a surprise for them. Because I've been plucking along. My issues with Blood Marked is we kept constantly being reminded that she was Black, but her interactions with Black people were very, what can you do for me? Okay, so the structural thing that Vicky was talking about was the writing, the pacing. It's a bit messy. Things are happening all over the place, and because it's kind of random and not cohesive enough, we have to stop and listen to explanations. I feel like that's a very common thing to happen in book twos because they write book 2 a lot faster than they have to write book 1 because book 1
we've probably been working on for a long time.
Exactly. Whereas book 2, it's like you're gonna have to like just figure some stuff out and make it fit, even if it's a round hole in a square peg. You ain't got time to like shave nothing down and make it clean.
Right, because I did not hate Redemptor, but it still was like, yo, this we've been.
It's never gonna get over to me that he was her on her mom's counsel, and I feel like everybody was like, "What do you mean?"
Right.
So yeah, I
You
get
know,
that. I feel
she
like that's
still
very
had,
valid.
we knew that she had spaces and whatnot, but like, I'm trying to figure out how she was supposed to be like, I vaguely remember you. How?
I
How?
know. I do
How?
not vaguely remember this man.
How? And then, yeah, you know, and I'm mad we spent all that time gearing up for the underworld. The underworld was like 3 chapters, and I was like, yo, for real? For real? Because
Yeah,
I was expecting
Deidre
her to
definitely
have to
wanted
get
more.
down there through there after all this.
It wasn't long.
It wasn't
And
long
it
at
was
all.
barely a struggle, honestly. Like, I
Like,
mean,
nah, it was more, and the book was barely a struggle. Like she was struggling against her brain the whole time.
yeah. Which, like, that's not like that's not a legitimate struggle, but like after all of the work she did to get ready for the underworld, it just didn't seem like it was that difficult.
No, it seemed like the underworld. It definitely seemed like the underworld is like in your head bad, but that can't be it because like everybody's talking about how horrible it was. So it just
Right.
didn't.
Like this, it's a legitimate problem. And like, I don't know. I don't know. Because, and I think it's because it was so short, because she did say, like, I do remember her saying that it was difficult. I remember her talking about a struggle, but because it all happened so quick, it's kind of like you just, like, it was kind of a show tell thing where she was saying that it was hard, but because it went by so fast, we didn't really get time to
Right.
see a struggle. She was just
We
saying
didn't see
that
that
it
it
was
was
a
hard for
struggle.
her. We heard it was hard for her.
Yeah, even when she was there, we were still just hearing that it was hard. I was
Right.
like,
Yeah.
but the next paragraph you're free. So like, how hard is it?
Right.
So yeah, I definitely think book twos are just a thing that it is hard to do them at like to the level that you do book one, because you like she
At
said,
least
like
in
oftentimes
trap up.
for a year.
At
Yes.
least in trap up. Right.
Yes, because you're on contract by that point. Book one, nobody was waiting for you. You got to rewrite it 15 times on your own time, critique partners, schedules, like everything. Book two, you just don't have that time. So yeah, I'm not surprised by that, because I do think Legendborn is well written. Like structurally, from a craft perspective, I think it's really well written. So to hear that book two sort of took a dive, I'm like, oh dang.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a book too that didn't take a dive, and I can't think of one. Not in a series. I can think of
Yeah,
a second book that didn't
a
take a
second
dive.
standalone, like different, but
Right.
yeah, nothing recent is coming to mind for sure.
Yeah, nothing recent for sure.
Hmm. Okay, congratulations on order. Pass the board, and you are now a dentist assistant.
Love that for you.
Congratulations. Vicky said I like the hair stuff. That's the blackness I like. Okay, because in the
Got
first
you,
book,
got you, got you. Yeah. I mean, that's usually the marker of blackness in these books now is how they talk about hair.
and
Like
there was
how
a
they
lot of criticism about how Brie did her hair in the first book, because she washed it so often. It was just like, girl, how are you washing your hair this often and it's not getting dry?
and you're not biracial? Like I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, no, she's not. Yeah,
Not her
interesting.
definitely don't.
Oh wait, Ari. Hey. Ari is reading Babel. It's thick. Yeah, I'm a slow reader too. I was literally just talking to Shay, and I was like, well, she already knows. Like, I'm not in, like, fantasies are just getting really freaking long right now. And
Yeah.
I'm not into it. And it makes it
And it's
hard.
unnecessarily long. Like it's not even long to the point that the story needs to be that long. Like
Right.
everything that I've read that I've been like, "Whoa, this is long." There's been fantasy. Not telling her to redo because like it's made sense. But in these other ones, I've been like, "Yo, bro, we could have cut out 5 chapters of this self doubt for real, for real."
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
it. You don't think you can do this. We get it. That's the premise. You don't think you can. You're going
Yeah.
to. That's how the book works. So let's get to it.
I do think that there is a thing going on where authors want to show more of the mental struggle. And I think that's so important. But I also think that there is a balance that needs to happen between the mental struggle and the external struggle. And it feels like that's
And
the
the pacing of the
difficulty.
story, because you can have a great mental struggle and still pace that story better.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the difficulty. Like, I think that's one of the difficulties of Redemptor, is that we got to see so much of her mental struggle. And I do think that it was rich, and I loved when she finally asked for, like, I love Redemptor, but I do think compared to Raybearer, the mental struggles we got to see from Tara's side dovetailed very nicely with the external tasks she had to do and that sort of thing. It felt a little bit more stilted in Redemptor toward the mental. And I think that's what's throwing a lot of people.
And I think it's because like in the first one they had those games, those things they had to do. So
yeah.
like, I have to keep this part of the story going because there's these challenges. And really in book 2, it was more you gotta convince people, which takes more mental fortitude than physical anything.
You gotta convince yourself first.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's important to know what you're making people want when you write.
No, for real.
That's an interesting
that like you don't realize that sometimes books, not sometimes, but a lot of times books influence culture. Right? Like TV influence culture. A lot of the shows are like Teen Pregnancy had went down for a while. Then Teen Mom came out. And when the Teen Mom shows came out, it went up again. Like there was a spike.
Really?
Like, yeah, there was a spike. Then it went down again. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's like things that people see or consume entertainment wise definitely can affect society.
I agree. Definitely agree. I just didn't know that
Teen Mom marketing wouldn't exist as a concept.
Yeah. Know what you're promising to deliver. Yeah.
That part, for sure.
Yeah. So what do you think that Tracy Deonn promised, Vicky? I'm wondering, because I'm thinking about Legendborn, and I'm just like, I don't feel like she promised me much of anything besides the story.
He promised the story for Black girls who didn't see themselves in fantasy. Because whenever somebody like critiques it, well, maybe this isn't the book that was meant for you. I wrote this book for right.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I was looking at Tracy Deonn interviews because I mentioned her. She's in a chapter of my dissertation, and there's not a lot of critical literature on Legendborn, and so I needed to look at just like interviews as a sort of secondary source. And the number of interviews that say that she's like paving the way or like the first of something, it really and truly confused me to the point where I was like, am I missing something?
Right. It's very confusing.
What is she the first of? And I'm not even saying that with like any shade.
Right. No shade.
What is she the first? I'm very confused.
Right. Definitely not first Black female fantasy author. Definitely
not the first Black retelling.
Right. Not the first Black retelling. Not like I don't know.
I had no idea what they were talking about. I was like, do these people just not read fantasy? Because
right.
It really just threw me to the point. I was like, have I missed some sort of like cultural importance that Legendborn is bringing?
Right.
Because again, I think that Legendborn is a very well written book. My main issue, I gave it like a 4.5. My main issue is the way that there's no Black people and the way that Bree doesn't seem overly burdened by that fact. Which is that's like a real sticking point for me, but I still think it's an excellently written book. It's long, but you know, so are they all at this point. But when they said she's like paving the way, I was really like, can you elaborate? Because I just can't think of what she's the first for. It's really throwing me off.
Honestly, I feel like this is why some of these authors in these spaces feel like they can say the things they say and move the way they move, is because people have given them these monikers that they have not earned. And so they feel like, well, I'm the first one to do this and I did this. So when I say this or when I do this, like it's not, no, you're not the first. And that's why you're getting the criticism that you're getting, because you haven't looked to your predecessors to see the pitfalls they failed or avoided. Like,
yeah.
Both
it's things. So confusing. Y'all, I was literally like, have I completely missed something about this author or this book?
Right.
Because it was multiple people that said it in interviews, and I was just like,
right. It's just so many things that like, what is she? I really want to know what the first she is. It's not set on an HBCU campus, so it's not the first HBCU campus best-selling book. Like, I'm trying to like get
Yeah.
down to the most niche thing I can think of, and I still can't.
I guess maybe the niche thing would be like maybe it's the first Black retelling of a King Arthur thing. In trad talk, because I'm sure that it's not the first ever.
No, at least one other Black person has written one, but I feel like that can't be it. Only in the thing that we had the movie The Black Knight, so I know somebody.
In trad pub, in YA fantasy, like you got to get real niche with it.
Oh, okay, yeah. So maybe it's an adult fantasy. Maybe that's it.
I guess, but I'm just like, why is that so important? I mean, like representation matters. I know. I'm like, why are y'all fangirling over that though?
I didn't realize King Arthur stories was that important for that to be a.
People love it. It's a whole. It is a whole thing because as soon as something King Arthur comes out, these little art like King Arthur stands come out the woodwork trying to poke at the historicity of it all. And she did write an article about Arthuriana and how it's all basically just like one long line of fanfic that I thought was, you know, well, like a well-made point. But it's just very confusing to me. Her reception is very confusing to me. And not confusing, you know, like she don't deserve all that shine. I'm just like, what am I missing about this firstness that's being ascribed to her? Because I think I missed it. Because even as well written as I think Legendborn was, it wasn't my favorite book of the year. Like I think Beast of Prey was way more of a like. I don't know. The Beast of Prey was the first, although I haven't read another Pan-African YA fantasy. That goes so hard and like really bringing in like these Pan-African names. She references Marcus Garvey, Patrice Lumumba. Like that was a first for me. Right. Like seeing that intentional of a thread of Pan-Africanism, that felt like a first. But I didn't feel like Legendborn was a first of anything.
Right.
It was just confusing to see the interviewers mention it, and I was like, am I the one not knowing something, or have they just not read enough to know that this is not a first? Which doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with it, but it's just not.
I feel like he hasn't read enough, because wouldn't you correct them? Because like if you were to call me the first of something, and I don't think there's nothing that I am writing that I think that I'll be the first of. Like, period. Like, I think that my writing is amazing and my stories will be great and people will love them. But I can't think of nothing that I'm writing that is just going to be no one else has ever thought of this concept.
Yeah, I don't.
No one else has ever executed this concept. Now, nobody else is going to execute it like me, sure. But...
Deidre.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't know. It was very confusing. The Davenports has continued to come up.
Yeah.
A lot of. You want to read it?
Yeah. The Davenports and the Hamptons, both of those have sounded interesting.
Okay. A lot of books the author spent 10 years writing. And then the sequel they only spent 2. Yeah, that's all the time that they have in Tradpo because they're in the contract at that point. There's been like 3 or 4 climaxes and blood marks so far. Yeah, that's after a certain point, I would stop caring. Good morning, Scorpio rising. I'm actually working and not really reading, but hey, y'all, hey. Yeah, definitely. Self-doubt, insecurity. It gets old quick. We get tired of hearing that song.
Especially when you are surrounded by people who are encouraging you. It's one thing if the main character has nobody uplifting them or trying to help them or being there for them or reminding them. But in almost every situation, it's somebody like, I'm here for you. You can lean on me.
Jeep was there.
Like, it's like, bro, for real.
Yeah.
We just gonna keep ignoring this help that's in our corner. Okay.
But I mean, and this isn't just for Tara's side, because I have read some books where I'm like, your insecurity is very annoying right now because you're in a good place, you're around good people. Can you try to let it go, or are you just gonna continue to hold on to this for the sake of getting to the 25% mark? It just feels like it's being protracted for the sake of the book and not for the sake of the character. But with Taurus, I understood it very much. I really didn't have a problem with her mental arc. Like, I know you were tired of it, but I was like, this feels very
You talking
true.
about in the first book?
No, in Redemptor,
Or Redemptor?
I really didn't have a problem with how long it took her because her mom groomed her with that. She had been under the influence of her mother for formative years of her life. And even when she's in this different place, her mom's the one that centered her for a very particular reason, and she is acting outside of that. So she's not really past her mom's influence. And I think that and then now she's gotten herself into trying to revive these old cultures and like it's a lot of pressure. So I definitely understood why it took her so long. That didn't bother me. It was just like, with that mental thing, we need more than you trying to make friends with these council members. Like, we need something else. And the riots were definite. Like, the riots, however, we just needed like one more thing that was an external something to balance all of the like the deep mental space that we were also occupying. So I didn't have a problem with her mental health arc and Redemptor. I just think we needed a bit of a stronger external stimuli arc to balance it out. That was not as interpersonal. That was just super viscerally external.
I think that for me, I guess it bothered me because like we spend the whole book saying that you want family and that you need family and that that's all you've ever wanted and you can't wait to have family, and you end the book with family, and then you pretty much ignore your family the whole second book. Like, and your family is like reaching out to you, and it literally makes you sick. Like that you're not talking to them, but you're like ignoring it. And I think that was the thing, was like, it's just that part was like annoying, because I was like, the mental struggle with having to like convince these adults, these people who don't want to be around you, who think you haven't experienced enough life, like that makes sense. Like the stuff with your mom, like it makes even more sense to me that you would be clinging to these people, especially now that you practically just you watched your mom die at the end of book one. So I think that was
Yeah.
my
No, yeah, but I know that you can want something and then you get it, and you're not as prepared for it as you thought, or it takes some time for you to get used to. So I hear you, but I'm just like, yeah, but you can want something and then not know how to receive it because it's still something new to you, and you just haven't had to operate with family. So it takes some time to figure out how to be a part of a family unit, and that's part of what she is learning in it.
Yeah,
That's what who said.
I feel like that works in real life, but the magic system is set up a familiar way, and that was why it was throwing me. Like the
Yeah,
magic
but it's
system,
not a magic spell. It's like, you shall now be okay with receiving family. It just connects you to one. DJ, what you talking about? We done been all over the place between Legend Born and Redemptor. I don't even know which book and author you're talking about here.
I don't think we said any author said anything. So
That's what she said for real. Do you know what she's
yeah,
referencing? You
no,
do?
I think she thought what's the name said that they were the first, but she didn't say it. She didn't say that she was the first. It was like someone else saying it in an interview about her.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the interviewers did, but she received it though.
Yeah, and that's
Like,
my
she
thing.
didn't.
Like at the very least, even if someone did say it about me, I'd be like, nah, no, I wasn't, because this person existed before me.
Yeah,
Because the truth of the matter is, you had to read somebody that inspired you, and it wasn't just a white person.
I was very confused by those interviews. I'm not even gonna hold you. Is Legend Born even written for Black people? That's what she. Oh, maybe that's what she said. That's what she said though. She says it's for Black girls who didn't see themselves. I agree with the second part. It feels like it's giving more attention to whiteness than anything else. But she said she is staunchly against that reading. Um, I feel like in a wide sense, I feel like it in a wide sense promised exactly what Shay said. Black girl fantasy, it delivers their okay. But within the book, she's made too many promises, too many subplots, too many reversals.
Sounds like old girl, but
Who?
you already know who old girl is.
Which book? Because you done read multiple of her books.
The one where it was too many things she didn't fit. Like you just brought out all this stuff.
Yeah. because that was confusing. Not confusing, just dissatisfying.
It was terrible.
There's no paving here. Um, exactly. In addition, when fans asked her to include more African American characters, she responded
That boy.
very.
And then you include them just for them to be used the whole time. It's like what benefit they are to her as a character. Like it pissed me off when she was like, "Black girls message me because they love Legend Born because all they saw was a black girl being loved unapologetically and not having to do anything."
Yeah.
By two white boys, black girls was messaging you because that's their fantasy. That a white boy will be like, "I'll slit your throat" or some shit, and then eventually be like, "Ooh, I want to be with you, girl."
Oh, Deidre said she thinks she was talking about Tracy Young, saying she was writing for black kids who hadn't seen themselves in fantasy prior to her book. That's confusing to me because Legend Born came out in 2020, right? 2019, 2020, and I'm just like, LL McKinney, Tochi Onyebuchi have been on the scene, and like we can just choose those two like huge people, but I'll say Nettie Okorafor been on the scene. Yeah. That's just a very confusing thing for you to say.
All of those are like not contemporary fantasy, right? Though, so maybe that's what she meant. All those are like
second world
or portal fantasy, right? Because this isn't a portal fantasy, is it? Or I don't know.
No, it's not. Although, I mean, there are portals involved because the demons are coming out of like a shadow realm or something. But fantasy is fantasy is fantasy. Like, unless she's saying contemporary fantasy, you really don't.
That's what I'm saying. I don't remember if she specified what type of fantasy, but I know like that was a conversation of like tweet threads because people were going,
Yeah, because I'm just like, what are you talking about right now?
Right. But again, if you let people say you the first or something, am I really surprised? No, I'm not surprised.
RC. Anyway.
Me.
Yeah. Don't get me started on them. We're not going there. We have done. We've already so much. Maurice Brodas did a King Author Urban Fantasy Retelling. Just meaning to know. I was like, that just can't be.
I knew it wasn't the first. That doesn't even logically.
They had a whole TV show with a black Guinevere. You're just not gonna tell me that no one, at least after that, did
right. That's what I said. Martin Lawrence did Black Knight in the King Author, and he like get transported to that time. And you tell me no black person was like, let's make this a book. I don't believe you.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Now that we've done a reading update, let's get back to the sprint.
I love how she was like, nah, I just got to the secret. We gonna get right back in this sprint.
And I wanted to, but
I know the conversation.
What I'm gonna say, y'all stop talking. I was like, let me be a good host because I really wanted to be like, we're not gonna finish this conversation right now. I don't care. I want to get back to the secret. I mean, but that would not.
I mean, because you
Jessica Cage. Yeah. I agree, Deidre. I just discovered her on Instagram and she has a huge catalog. I agree.
Who?
Jessica Cage.
Oh yeah, Jessica Cage. I don't know when she started writing, but yeah, no, she has definitely a really big catalog.
Yeah, I found her because she was doing those Instagram things that were like, she would take, like, someone would say something, she would just take a random clip of a video and then start writing from it, and like writing this. It's really funny. You should check it out. But that's how I found her.
I follow her. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that thing that she was doing, like making random clips, people like shapeshifters and whatnot. Hilarious. I think that really boosted her following to see her doing that Instagram Reel series. She recently had to do like a reintroduction, like, hey, to all these new followers. I was like, good for you.
Yeah,
it's nice to see social media working out for a black creator.
Yeah, I love that for them. For when black creators do that. So yeah. Okay, all right. Let's talk.
When we come back, we're gonna talk about Colleen Hoover. Y'all just get ready. Y'all just get ready. Colleen Hoover.
Oh, okay. I ain't writing that
down. We're gonna get to that in a second. And 3, 2, 1. Y'all turn them pages. Okay. I know that went a little over and I saw it happen, but I was like, I have to get past this part in the book. Um, at the 90% mark, so proud of myself. Whew, mercy. What a climax. Woo, Chile. But anyway, loving when it all syncs up. Really am. So happy with it. People are doing better now. Love that for them. Well, at least they're on the road to better. Da, 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 da. Going back. I knew as soon as I said Colleen who we are going to blow up my darn comments. Now, wait a minute. Not Hoover. Vicky, stop it right now. Whatever you heard, she did it.
Miss Vacuum got it.
I'm dead. Oh my. Okay, what's the tea on her? Let me know. Because all I have heard is that she blew up on TikTok. And what I gathered from it is that people are mad because like other Black creators who have been grinding have been suppressed by the app while she is being like elevated from the app. And I agree, that's garbage, but that's also not necessarily her fault. We know the TikTok code is corrupted and racist. So is that the issue? Are we mad about her because of TikTok? Read me
Well, I
in.
thought it was her books being like super freaking toxic, like toxic relationships and being like unhealthy for teenagers to be reading and stuff. Like I thought that's what.
Did she write YA?
I don't know. I just seen her name come up in conversations about toxic relationships because like somebody was like recommending her to someone who was like looking for positive representation of relationships to give like a teenager.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So I read one of her books because one of my friends from church was like, so I read this book by Colleen Hoover. It's called Ugly Love, and she really liked it. And I was like, I know there's something going on with her. I'm not sure what it is, but I just don't. The way I end up reading white romance is typically through like what's it called? Like cozy mysteries and their romance subplot. Or like I really like Cara Bastone's very like PG romances. Now her like more R-rated romances I find thoroughly ridiculous. I don't like those characters at all. I could care less about them. I find them so agitating. I don't like them at all. But her PG rated E romances, super cute. I really, really like them. But I don't make it a habit of just seeking out white romance. So I was like, I was never gonna read a Colleen Hoover book. But she was like, I really like it, da 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 da. And I've given this friend a lot, like a boatload of book breaks. So I was like, I guess I can take one of yours. So I read Ugly Love. And
It sounds like you're gonna say I didn't hate it.
well, I wouldn't have finished it had it not been for the friend. I will say that. Right. I would have stopped pretty early on because the female protagonist whose names are Tate. It's Tate and not Marshall. I'm thinking about Love is Blind. Tate and the man. Tate was thoroughly annoying. I didn't like her about at all. But the concept is not new. So as far as like, like the book is about, he had some legit like real grade A trash happen to him when he was 18. And he had some really, really tragic losses that made him not want to ever love again. Which, when you hear what happened to him, I'm like, I'm not even gonna hold you for that. I'm really not. And so when she meets him 6 years later, and he's 24 and she's 23, he's like, he hasn't kissed a girl, he hasn't dated a girl since 6 years ago, and but he's attracted to her. He really like likes her, but he's like, I'm not available for like love. So it'll be sex and nothing else. And she says yes to that, even though she knows she likes him. And I'm just like, it's a dual POV book, but his POV is all like 6 years ago. And so while we're like getting her POV things happening in the present, we're getting his POV of like what happened in the past to make him like really turn off. So I'm just like, there's a lot of like parallelisms in her book. And I'm like, okay, like that's fine. But it also gets a little repetitive. And I can tell it's meant to be like more poetic and like poignant. But the repetition just gets redundant to me after a while. And it's a little annoying and makes their voices sound pretty juvenile to me. But then again, they are 23 and 24. So I try to like excuse it as characterization. I did get to the part, I saw this on Twitter, I didn't realize it was her. On Twitter, they had been talking about something cringy in a romance book where they were like, they were laughing at their baby's testicles and how large they were. And I was like, that was you? So when I got to that part, I was like, okay, girl. But it wasn't anything special. Like that plot is hardly unique. Lots of books talk about toxicity and romance because humans just aren't perfect. So I'm just like, I mean, I didn't really find the books super like groundbreaking in any way. Right, nothing to write home about. Like I don't think that she's a bad writer as far as like from a craft perspective. Like the writing wasn't bad. I could see her being very intentional about like the repetition. And I think at first I was like, oh, this is actually really beautiful. When it continued with no variation, in the way that she kept repeating things, I was like, this is now starting to annoy. And it didn't take long for it to start to annoy. But I was like, if we're just mad at her about the TikTok thing, I need a little bit more because it's not like she's a new, like a debuting author who is surpassing all of these like been out here in the trenches all this time. So it's like, what exactly are we mad about her about? So here we go. Don't get me started on Colleen Hoover, the one book I read where she had a character cheat on his wife who was incapacitated due to a disability. Okay. There's a direct line from the young, maybe, heroes doing it because you can't satisfy your own husband anymore. Interesting. I've heard all kinds of Colleen Hoover chaos. She was everywhere for a bit, and now all I hear is how messed up some of her scenarios are. I mean, yes, but like she's not the only one that does that in her books, number one. And number two, it's not like people don't do these trash things. So that's why I was like, am I missing something super trash that she as a person did? Because she got a lot of smoke and I just never found out what exactly it was about. Good morning, Elizabeth.
I think it's more so been like she's just an average writing, average story. White woman is getting a lot of hype, and it's like, why though? Like these stories aren't groundbreaking. They're not really cracking anything. Why is it that people, like why is it that she's blowing up or she's like selling all these books, and we got people like telling better stories, writing better books that just can't get it. I think that. Okay, well, yeah, no, if we joking about people with disabilities, that's automatic, no. But yeah, from what I've seen, it's been a lot about just the mediocrity of her writing and still the popularity of her, or the way that publishers spend on her and stuff.
Ugly Love is the one that started my villain arc. Why, Maya?
That's funny.
What do you mean you don't consider them romance? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was really just talking about a baby's genitals was gross to me. Yeah, I was like, I mean, I'm not a parent, so maybe that's a regular occurrence. And they were also children, which is why, I mean, they're 18. So I was like, that's also why I was like, it was just hard for me to get through a book with such young protagonists because they just seemed so incredible.
Yeah, I could definitely see like an 18-year-old guy who's never like babysat talking about like their son's.
Look how big his balls are. All right.
Yeah, because like they're a kid.
Yeah, so that's why I was like,
yeah.
I want to do this, but it makes sense.
Just because it's happened in real life don't even mean you need to be a part of the story too. Like
that's true, but I don't know. I'm just like, why is she getting so much attention?
Are there in books? People poop all the time. How many pooping scenes are really in books? Like there's just some stuff you just don't have to put in there. Is all I'm saying. Like we know it happens.
I don't know. I feel like she is not the only one doing toxic. Like a lot of the romances that I read, the guys or the women are doing something that's like, that's not exactly what you should be doing in this situation. But like humans are messy and they usually don't do what they're supposed to be doing at the beginning of the book. So I was like, am I missing something specific?
Yeah, because you know I don't like the toxic females and what's the name book. I be like, girl, y'all be getting some amazing black men and y'all just be ooh.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just like, the toxicity is not new. She's not the only one, black or white, who does that. So I was like, there's gotta be another reason.
I definitely think it's the mediocrity.
Even the friends with benefits thing, where it's like where one of them says it can only be said. I'm like, this is not the first time this is happening in a romance book. So what are we saying here?
I'm about to say no. One of the ones by that like duo that writes books like that. Literally, y'all started friends with benefits, complete strangers on a cruise. I caught myself on a cruise. Like, come on now, come on.
Yeah.
You never heard about the woman who went on a cruise and had sex with a stranger and came back with AIDS? Like, chill out.
A coloring book based on domestic violence. What?
Oh, well, see? Okay, the more we keep talking, the more it's like, oh, I see now.
I don't even understand what that would look like or who that's for.
Right. Because
you're going to drop someone in a hospital with a black eye? Like, what is...
Right. Like, what is what?
What's the concept? Oh, mercy. I don't usually blame writers for how messed up their characters are. Same, depending on what exactly they're doing. But in general, I'm just like, people do behave this way. So it's like,
I don't. Who do you blame then? Because it's their characters.
It is, but I'm just like, them portraying a particular kind of person. Like, you want to read about someone perfect?
No, I just don't like reading about stupid people personally.
That's, yes, we know, but I'm just saying, like, when the characters are toxic, I'm just like,
yeah,
she's not the only one doing that, and people are toxic. We see it every day. So, like, do you want a realistic book or do you want a romantic fantasy?
Well, so I didn't think it was the toxic people. I thought it was the relationships. Like the relationships, even at the end, are toxic. Was the viewpoint that I got was that it's like these are good relationships, even though they're toxic. Was what I was the impression that this is what love is supposed to look like, is what
I see.
It was like. So not that like, oh my gosh, these people are toxic. Like, no, these dynamics of this relationship is toxic and you're normalizing this is like, it's not abuse.
I see. I definitely didn't like how Tate was just taking whatever he offered to her. I understood why he was doing it because we're in his like 6 years ago POV, seeing how like he used to be all into love. He gave his all. This super tragic thing happened, and I get it. From her, I was like, what in the world? Why are you accepting this foolishness? Do I understand why he's doing it? Yes, but I don't understand why you're accepting it. But he wasn't bullying her. It was just him trying to maintain this like benefits only package. But it just was ridiculous to me why she was accepting it, and then him trying to be like jealous and tell her what to do. And I'm just like, but you said sex only. Sex does not cover you telling me where to go. Go away. So it was just like, I wish that she had a little bit more backbone. And I just DNF'd a book that I'm literally like not even barely an hour into on Audible, where this woman walked in on her, she's 35 years old. 35. Now, can Tarisa Kunleo have some trouble standing up for herself as a child? Sure, we all go through it. I don't want to be about a 35-year-old woman who's been married for however long, walking in on her husband going down on his secretary and just quietly leaving the room.
I'm going to jail.
And y'all going to the morgue. Like, we're all going somewhere.
Somebody like, cause I just don't. I know my reaction gonna be bad. Like, I'm gonna just be like, first of all, you ain't even got the good sense to go somewhere private. You doing this in someplace anybody can just walk into.
I can walk in on you.
I just walked in here. Second of all, I just walked in here. Are you serious? Third of all,
and the husband is unapologetic.
Nah, it's so many different reasons that you just would lose your life.
He packed up her stuff and put it outside their New York brownstone. What? I'm going full Medea. Where's my chainsaw? I'm cutting up half of everything. You've lost your mind.
Yeah.
It's just, and her being a full doormat, I can't read that. So like, I agree, bully romances are not for me, especially because it's rarely an evenly matched thing. There's one person, usually the guy, who's super brusque, and then there's the female, the woman, who just really takes it. It's really like sassy in her head, but out loud just does what he says. And it's like, ooh, he told me what to do. And I'm just like, girl, I can't. If this is people's reality, I don't want to read about it because it's not mine. You lost your whole mind talking to me like this. And then, because he's so good in bed. I'm just like, sends me every time. So I can't do a bully romance. There's a really good video that breaks down all the controversy by a clockwork reader. And Caleb Joseph has one. Huh?
Is that a TikTok reader? Is that what you're saying?
I guess. I don't know.
That's the person's handle.
Oh, okay. Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah. And Caleb Joseph has one that's more about a personal beef that he and she were involved in. The juice. I hate when cheating is made okay, but to have sex and make sure you were loud enough for your wife with a disability to hear what?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that definitely be a DNF for me. Be a DNF for me, for real. Nah.
What?
Y'all know I don't DNF nothing, so
that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't like books with cheating. I don't like movies with cheating. I don't like especially because so many times cheating could just you could just have a conversation.
Leave the relationship.
You just have a conversation like, hey.
That's crazy. No, she didn't get a weapon and kill him. She took it on the chin. And now her favorite aunt died and left her old house. Her house has a lot of like homeowners association like violations against it though that are gonna be like $26,000 to fix. And so she needs a place to stay, so she's staying in her aunt's house, but her aunt was a hoarder. She did not realize this because her aunt usually likes to meet with her outside of the house. And so she hasn't been to her aunt's house in I think she said like 10 or 20 years. And so now she realized like her aunt kept like the downstairs pretty clean, but upstairs you can't even get into some of the rooms because there's so much stuff piled in those rooms. And she's feeling really bad about it because she's like, wow, this is the person who understood me most in the world and always stood up for me, and I didn't even realize that they were having a mental health issue. Obviously, it's totally now the aunt's dead, but yeah, I mean, do I want to see her like? No, I used to hold in on these books, waiting to see these women get a backbone and like tell her because her dad is also
it's not satisfying when they do.
Huh?
Usually it's not satisfying when they do. Like they might get one, but it's still so like medium, mild.
Right.
Like
because they always take
all the smoke by now.
They get a backbone and use it to take the high road. They don't be telling their ex-husbands off. They don't be telling their parents off. They just quietly are like, I'm above this now. I'm not above it. Tell them, read them 1, 2, 3, what they have been doing to you for the past span. At least for the past 6 hours I've been listening to this book. It's just not worth it to me anymore. So I was like, nah, I'm gonna DNF because I can, like the way her ex-husband literally called her and she says basically like she's just so used to picking up the phone. Not that she mindlessly did it. She saw it, didn't want to do it and felt like she had to anyway because she's been picking up his calls for years. I said, girl, go somewhere. No, I am not about to read about a doormat. I'm just not interested. I am simply not interested. So, exactly, Vicky. I want revenge. I do not want to read all high road foolishness. Write that in a short story. In a novel where I've been having to listen to you get talked to crazy for 6, 7 hours, I need something. I need some comeuppance. And I don't be getting it. I don't get it. So I'm no longer engaging in doormat romances or bully romances because I never get the reversal that I need at the end. I be waiting for it and it just never hits like it needs to. Not for me. So anyway, okay. I just wanted to know what the Colleen Hoover is. Y'all calling her Miss Vacuum is sending me. Y'all are funny.
I was dying. I was like,
y'all are funny, Miss Vacuum. Okay, so now I gotta find where was the comment? Maya's. Yeah, I need to find this clockwork reader and then Caleb Joseph. Okay, last thing, where it's already 12:11. But now this is y'all's time. Speak now or don't. Who on here has been watching Love is Blind? And who has thoughts?
You already know it ain't gonna be.
I already know it's not gonna be you. But who on here has been watching Love is Blind? And who among us has thoughts? So my realtor just texted me. I was like, what?
Hey, chill.
That's an interesting thing to say. Going once. Going twice.
Out of here, Titan. Out. It's the way you think that I'm gonna change my mind. Boy, get out.
Wait, let me take a picture of this comment so I can finally know what the tea is with Miss Vacuum. Y'all are funny. Y'all are so funny. Okay, comment saved. Both on YouTube. Good. Yes, please finish your message to me. You just abandoned me. Never watched it. I'm not gonna watch the reunion. Girl. All of these reviews I have seen at the reunion, I'm not watching it either. Because all I have heard is that Vanessa was picking the wrong people to have smoke with. And it was giving like you just don't want to give smoke to people who really needed it. The fact that she ignored it's never. Now, am I ever gonna go to bat for Kwame? Not really. I'm not really, because it's giving black man who only dates white women, and you get what you get in that scenario. I don't care. But for people to be acting like he just pursued Micah and she didn't drop him any crumbs, she did. And she didn't even do it because she truly liked him. She just did it because she wants to feel like she is the alpha female in the situation. She did it really more to put Chelsea in her place because she's mad that Chelsea's actually a decent human being. Like, and the way everything was put on Kwame as like, oh, you just can't help it chasing these white women, and I'm just like, we're gonna ignore the fact that she played into that. I don't like it. And the fact, okay, I'm done. Take over your mind. Love is truly not. Love is not blind, but it is dumb. There should have been zero smoke for Marshall. Exactly. And I've heard and someone said, I feel like Marshall has a bigger temper than he lets on. And I feel that because the way he be staring at people sometimes is giving serial killer vibes to me. The way Marshall be staring at people sometimes makes it look to me like he is thinking about taking you out of this world.
Man, I ain't gonna lie to you. When people piss me off, that's why I like, where's my weed? Because we be saving a lot of people's lives. I ain't even gonna hold you.
He
Some of
just gets
y'all
real
is
still.
2 minutes away from a good little slicing.
He really marriage is not blind. Marriage got all her senses, honey. It's just I still think for like what we saw on camera, he shouldn't have gotten any smoke. And no matter what Marshall did or said, not no matter what, but like compared to Jackie, I don't feel like anything that Marshall said, if anything, leads to him getting all this smoke and Jackie getting none. Jackie being able to not come to the reunion, which I'm like, that should be a breach of contract. You signed on to this show. How do you just elect to not come to the reunion and sit at home with a pre-recorded interview video where you get to be all booed up with the guy that you cheated on Marshall with? Oh, well, I didn't cheat on him. We were already together. Whatever. The guy you left Marshall for and were super inappropriate with it, no matter what the timeline was, you were inappropriate with it. You were disrespectful to Marshall and you gave cheater energy. I don't know if I believe that you didn't cheat on him, but I don't care. It's not me. But you were disrespectful to him no matter what the sequence of events. Extremely disrespectful. On camera, you knew the camera was there and you didn't care. You completely disregarded him when he was super... Yes, that should have been a breach. Like, what? And so it's just like, I don't like how they allowed Jackie to come out smelling like Rose when we all saw her being a complete villain. And then for Vanessa Shay to have so much smoke what Marshall was talking about when you said she had a mannish face.
Okay.
Is that all you got? Is that all you got? Because guess what? I said that because she constantly was questioning my masculinity. She created his masculinity for the entire show to the point that people on the internet were asking, like, are we sure that Marshall's not gay? Maybe he got a little sugar in his tank, to the point where he had to make a statement about his sexuality. And we're coming at him for saying he said Jackie had a man's face. Maybe he said that because she kept saying that he was female. What do you think he was going to say?
I mean, I definitely would have pulled it. Well, I mean, from your face, it takes one to know one. Like, I mean, you would be the expert on masculinity looking how you look. That's why I don't need to go on none of these shows. Get what? Yeah.
I need them to have someone real go on this show. Because people really be holding their tongue.
I thought about signing up for one of these shows and like wearing a mask through the whole like somebody choose me process, and then being like, okay, no, here's cachet once they choose me, so the show can't be like, oh nah, we gonna pick somebody else. Nah, you stuck with me now. You already ready to go into filming at this point.
Hello, gotcha. Production is already underway. Let's get it.
Got him. That's I thought about that because like y'all really do. Because it'd be messily entertaining, but not even like entertaining. Like I'll be rooting for nobody because you don't have nobody to root for in these shows.
No. And it's very much to the thing where it's like, again, I feel like I'm freaking reading a bully romance. I'm tired of all these villains roaming around here and no one checking anybody. I can't do it.
Well, you know, like we're in a climate right now where it just pays to just like men to always be the problem. So it makes sense that like, well, he entertained it. Like it takes two to tango, and y'all know that.
Right.
Y'all know that.
To not include Jackie at all.
Y'all know that can't be the situation. If the other person don't feed into it, there's never an issue.
Yes. And you know what? And Jack and Marshall said that because there was a moment in the show after they were engaged, after they get engaged, they lived together for like 3 weeks while they planned the wedding. And she told him, I want you to be more aggressive. But she was talking about strictly in bed. And he was like, that's not really something I'm comfortable with. Because of what she was asking him to like choke her. And he was like, I'm not super into that. As much as you don't want someone to yuck your yum, you can't push their boundaries like that either. Right. If he don't want to choke you, he don't want to choke you. Why?
If he's not into that, he's not into that.
Like, and if we can't shame you for wanting to be choked, then why we gotta shame him for not wanting to choke somebody? We're gonna for real sit here and say it's a problem for a man not to be aroused by choking a woman?
Right.
Because if he had the intuition, I'd be reading him for filth again. So I'm just
Right.
like, it's
Exactly.
giving you want, like you said, Shay. Like you just want him to be the problem because he's a man, but actually she was the villain.
Right.
Sorry. Like she was the problem. This man got up early before she got out of bed to make her a full pancake breakfast with a doggone fruit compote he made from scratch. Went to the farmer's market, made it for her, got some powdered sugar for her pancakes.
Oh my God, this sounds so sweet.
And she was like, he's too much of a simp for me.
You deserve what you get. I hope you end up with 3 baby daddies and 4 children, is the truth. I hope none of them pay child support. And I hope, I really do. And I hope that your parents don't ever want to babysit.
That's what she wants, clearly. You want that struggle,
clearly
though.
that's what you want. Because let somebody be like, I made you break, but you did what?
He truly couldn't. Yes, she could not comprehend the love he was showing her. And he told his friend, I think it was Brett he was talking to. I love Marshall and Brett's friendship, by the way. It's so beautiful. And Brett did a lot to really have conversations and shine light on Black men having positive relationships with each other and it not being toxic and super stoic. So I love Marshall and Brett's relationship. Brett's another contestant on the show. He ended up with a Black woman, Tiffany. We all love. So he's telling Brett what happened, and he's like, I really just feel like for real, she wants toxic love. Like I know women like her and they want toxic men, and that's just not me, and I'm not going to be that for anybody. And Brett essentially told him, you need to check in with yourself and see all the stuff that you're doing for her. What is she doing for you, and are you okay with what you're getting? And you really need to just think with yourself about that first. Are you happy in this relationship? Because you're serving the heck out of her. What is being done for you? You're in this relationship too. And I was like, Brett, good question, Brett. Marshall, we need to think about this because you're not requiring anything of her. You're being her servant. You're not being the head of the household right now. It's not giving head of the household behavior.
The crazy part though is we've entered into a culture where if a man asks you, what are you doing? What do you bring to the table? How can you do something positive to this relationship? It's like it's a bad question now.
Right.
No, we all need to know what the other person is bringing to the table. How can you benefit me? How can I benefit you? Because if we're not benefiting each other, what is the point?
It's the partnership, no?
Right.
So what are we bringing? What are we building?
What do you bring to the it matters what you bring to the table.
Mercy.
Just being a woman ain't it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's not. And you're right, Deidre. He was ready to fall on that sword and be miserable. And Brett was like, let's think about this.
No.
Let's think about this.
Divorce. Or worse, y'all gonna end up with kids. That's what people don't think about. It's it's one thing when you are just suffering, but you are entering a situation where kids are very likely.
Right. And you're gonna have to then be they're also their emotional buffer against their mom, because if she continues to behave this way.
And even if she doesn't, if you have not and are not happy with her, that's affecting your parenting, that's affecting that household, that affects that energy. It's just so many ways in which marrying the wrong person is just never a good idea.
Yeah. So I wasn't actually mad when they didn't work out, but the way she did it was trash. Because they go to wedding fittings, wedding dress fittings, and the guys go to tux fittings. She didn't show up. She didn't show up to her wedding dress fitting. In fact, she went on a date with this other guy, Josh, who she met in the pods. She went on a date with Josh at a cafe when she should have been at her wedding dress fitting. Didn't tell Marshall she wasn't going, nothing. Just went on this thing. Tiffany, who is Brett's fiance, texted him and was like, yo, Jackie's not here. And then Brett pulls Marshall aside while Marshall's talking to his friends saying when it's good, it's really good, blah, 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 blah. And then Brett texts him to the side and is like, so Tiff just texted me. Jackie's not there. And he's like, okay. And then his friends are like, that's trash. There's really no excuse for that. And then when she goes home later, tells him yeah, we're not working out. I can't love you. And I'm just like, you didn't have to say it like that at all. That was so mean.
That's
I
super
can't love you. No, you can't accept love.
right.
I,
The love that you have, I'm not ready to receive. I'm not in a place where I can receive it. Is such a better thing to say.
right. Then I can't love you because you're a simp. So if I beat you in the face, you'll be able to
Man,
accept my
then
love.
y'all want to be mad. Then y'all want to be, y'all don't want to ever
Ugh.
forgive nobody for hitting nobody in the face a couple times. Like, it's just like, what is it? What is it?
Imagine how tired we are. Because right after she told him to boss up, he gets in there, he's like, Jackie, I've been doing it. And she's like, first of all, who are you clapping at? He said, you wanted me to be more aggressive.
Thank you. Thank you. Who am I clapping at? The motherfucker who's, I mean, sorry. Ooh, it slipped. My bad. I'm so sorry.
The confusion.
Yeah, nah. Ooh. I see, it's why I can't be
That's
on
why
this
you
show.
couldn't watch Love is Blind, because you be cussing at your TV all day.
I'd be like, you know what? I'm trying to stop, and you gonna make me start.
No, Jackie would send you. She's a full-on villain.
What in the world?
And her entire persona is very strange to me because she talks in a really antiquated black slang, and I'm just like, because she's like Latina, and I'm just like, it's giving that you want to like mimic black culture, but you don't actually respect black people. Because it's very, it seems like.
Well, you know, there's this whole time where, you know, people were trying to convince black people that Latinx people couldn't be racist against black people because we all have the same struggles, and it's like, nah, no, we don't. No, we don't.
Mercy. I'm just like, let her fall into obscurity. I'm just tired of seeing Jackie. I really am, because it's giving confusion.
How you not want to get a ring back? What? You don't want to be with him? That's dumb. You don't get to keep something that someone is giving you. And first of all, how did it get out of?
Yep. He said, so give me the ring back. And she said, I will be keeping the ring.
No.
And he said, you know what? That's fine. Just whenever you think about me, whenever you see that ring, think about what you missed out on. She was like, I mean, okay, whatever. I guess I'll see you around. He said, no, you will not see me around. And she said, okay. Like, she just thought it was really funny. And I'm just like, and so one of the reviewers was like, it was a black woman. And she was like, I could not have been Marshall's sister. I couldn't have been. Not his sister, not his cousin, not no blood together.
Definitely would have caught hands for real. I would have had to. You would have had to see me to the yard for one. How you talk to my brother on these cameras because you knew cameras was rolling, so you wanted to be funny and famous. I'm gonna make you funny and famous. We would have nah.
Yo,
my brother,
you gonna clown him on national TV?
And I'm not gonna lie, I would have cussed my brother like you. Well, how was she treat you? Watch this episode with me. We're gonna run it back. You don't see this? You didn't see this? You didn't see this? Love is Blind, huh? They put you on the right show.
And so are you.
They put you on the right show. I'm going to still go beat her up, but you don't do this again.
Yo, bro. When she said, I'm not giving back that ring, the woman was like, listen.
You would have gave me back. You would have gave my brother back his ring.
Yes, you are. But or her thing was like, Marshall didn't even buy it. The show bought it. And it's like, well, Marshall picked out the ring, though, for you, for y'all's love. So why do you want to keep the ring?
Like,
and it should go back to him.
You shouldn't be able to keep the ring if you don't get married. Contractually, if the show buys it, what? So maybe that was just her trying to be fun, like her giving a soundbite. It's like, no, you don't get to keep the ring. Like, why would
No, she still has it to this day. Or at least when they did the reunion, I guess the reunion aired on Monday, and she still had the ring at that point. She said, like, everyone was like, she's gonna go pawn it. And she was like, I haven't pawned the ring. I still have it. And she's still with Josh. They now live together. And I'm like, why are you okay with your girlfriend, by Scorpio rising? Why are you okay with your living girlfriend having another man's ring?
Yeah, there's no way. You would have been
pawn especially if you didn't pawn it. Like, if you're not going to pawn it, what do you have?
You don't come up off of it. But how many, do you know, I would sign up for that show just for somebody to give me a ring that I could take home. What you mean?
Listen.
I come up on a quick 800 and I get paid to do the show, bruh. Let me go ahead and get on this show.
It was very strange.
I got currently, you know, it could be a little nest egg for the series I want to write.
And she didn't get no smoke at the reunion.
And you're not gonna talk bad about me. I can just say whatever. I mean, it ain't gonna work for me because I'm a dark skinned black woman. So you probably
it's not gonna work out for you.
Yeah, you know. I'm still
They
gonna
let
come
her
up on
now.
the
The
show.
internet is eating her up. The internet is eating her alive. So did she catch the appropriate smoke on the interview on the reunion? No, but the internet eating that behind up. So I'm just like, I mean, she didn't get away with it. Everyone's calling her everything but a child of God. But for her to
I
be
mean,
able to
she
sit free
sound
on
like
the
everything
reunion,
for the child of God. She
I
sound
mean,
like
listen,
her and
she's
God
certainly
ain't
not
had a
ordering her
conversation in
steps.
a while. In a
She is
while.
certainly not ordering her steps. But yeah, anyway, we just have to get that out in case any of y'all watched it and had thoughts. Okay, it is 12:30 on the Dizzy, y'all. It's been real. I got to 90% on when it all syncs up. Super excited. Thinking I'll be able to finish it next week. Yeah,
I don't
thinking I'll
think
be able to
one
finish
time
it next week.
there.
Yep. Shay, any announcements?
I'm gonna be streaming this week because I'm gonna be on vacation the following week. So y'all won't see me that following week. Unless like I do some pop-ups, and if I do, it'll probably be on Twitch because Twitch gave me a check and I ain't streaming on Twitch in a month. So obviously, I just need to go over there and do something. So it'll probably be on Twitch. I'll tweet about it when it happens. And
Okay. If y'all missed our writerly conversation about unboxing poetry from its genre, then see that on my channel. Yeah, it was a nice little conversation. So y'all have an amazing weekend. Drink water. Take care of yourself. Bye.
mind your business.